Hello, this is a tier list for the invocations. Now, first, if you are starting at Toa, then you should just go with invocation 0. Do not turn anything on. And certainly do not go 150 just for the loot. You will not get any loot, trust me. Now, the absolute first ones that you should turn on, probably persistence. Yeah, you're probably gonna die more than 2 times. Maybe even 5 times, to be honest. Just play it safe for the beginning. Afterwards, maybe some Iron Man want to grab some fish, maybe not, but you only need brews for the first 2 bosses, and afterwards you should get a chaos. If you are running solo, maybe even live, but that's mainly if you got a partner. So let's say that you have a partner and you pick life because you are a beginner and your partner is actually experienced and he is the one grabbing power. Well, that's gonna make it way more efficient, and that's what I strongly suggest to beginners. Blowing mud is actually free only in solo. Everyone says it's free in teams. No, it's actually one of the worst invocations, because what happens is in masses with 8 people and even with 2 people. So if you have a partner and you decide to trap the melee over here, then this is what can happen. So you will sit right in this square over here, and the dung will form a line over here. Okay, well, you can still hit the major over here, but you need to be careful because the space can be quite tight. Now there is also the same problem over here north with the ranger, because he can get stuck, and that's pretty bad. Now if both of you are on the same side, then one of you can get stuck in this triangle here, so make sure that you are on the opposite side of your partner. So you see over here on the left side it says me, and then you will have another orb for the second player, and then the third player, the fourth player, and so on. Let me show you in game over here. So you see this team of 4 idiots. So the first one is Brog, whatever, Uruch. These 2 will get dunked at the same time. And then Magic Silver and Lord will get dunked at the same time. And Mini will get dunked, and so on and so on. So you want to make sure that the high kill count, 102 for example, is up on the list. Now this is something that most people just do not seem to understand. Blowing mud is not free. It will get people stuck, it will get them killed, and along with medic, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. If you have these 2 turned on, then it's really bad. Now with blood thinners, in my opinion, this makes it easier. Instead of the 1 big blood clot that's a bit harder to dodge, you got 3 really smaller ones. Shaking things up, so Baba can you got 1 more tick for the Baba slam. Makes it easier. Now for the next invocations, by now you should be familiar with Overclocked. Living Larva, pretty easy. Jungle Jape, some people fuck it up, but not that difficult to dodge, but again not that many points either. Once you get to this level, you should understand the basic mechanics of the prayer switching, maybe even turn on a timer, maybe. And by now, if you really want, you can turn on walk the path, but at this point you should really keep focusing on the mechanics. It's up to you. I'm actually not a fan of walk of the path because it just raises the enemy hit points, defense, accuracy, damage. Why? It adds no mechanics. You are not learning anything. You are still not getting any loot over here. This is a lie. This is an absolute lie. The only item that you are getting is the light bearer, nothing else. yeah, threads, gems, whatever. You are not getting anything from here. By now you should be relatively decent at switching gear at Aka. Now I'm a bit reluctant to say this, but first you should actually turn on ancient haste. So this just means that at the Warden obelisk over here, when you sit on this side, the absolute minimum without ancient haste is 5 orbs, and with ancient haste is 8 orbs. And if you want to know, you need to sit with ancient haste. You need to tank 50 orbs until the pyramids start to not be offset anymore. So you're basically sitting over here just to offset the pyramids that come down. These pyramids. You want these pyramids to be offset, right? You only need to sit 8 times, that's it. So what happens is when you turn this on, you got a lot bigger chance for the specs to be done by these two people. But the deal is you got plenty of time to heal, so there is really no excuse. You got supplies. Hopefully you will not die at part 2 Warden. Hopefully. It's pretty bad, but you know, if you are not feeling confident, then you can turn something else on. You gotta have faith. Pretty good too. It still does some damage. People do get hit. Again, I'm not a fan of the Overlord one. Actually, I'm doing it backward. It should be something like this. Now, I prefer to have the Zebak invocations turned on because most people just start with the Zebak first. And if you fuck up over there, well, at most you only wasted like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. But if you fuck up at Warden, then you wasted like 30 minutes. Aerial assault, a lot of people complain about it, saying, oh, well, it's so difficult, it's so this and that. No, it's difficult for you because you suck. It should not be difficult. This should be meta. Overlords and Medic raise your raid by 2 minutes. Aerial assault does not raise your raid by 2 minutes. So which one sounds better to you? All you have to do is dodge. At this point, maybe you should consider need some help. Now the shitty part with this is that it basically means that you might actually have only one salt even at power sometimes. So if you are in a mass, you might be able to ask someone for a salt dose and maybe you'll get one, maybe not. It depends a bit on luck. And of course have the softcore run turned on by now. And if you are in masses, you can turn hardcore, but you need to be really careful at 300. So let's just hit softcore run for now. Yeah, so by now, acceleration and penetration, sorry, but you're gonna have to learn Warden part 2 by now. We are going to go a bit backwards and upset stomach too. Now, this is something that can get people killed, but the good part is, if you are in masses, and if you have seen that the jug is fucked, then just teleport out. Okay, have a teleport with you and just teleport out. If you do not need to be on hardcore and pay the 500k, because this is what usually happens. I think feeling special, a lot of people die from this, unfortunately. A lot of people are scared, they do not want to practice it. You know what? Sorry buddy, but you're gonna have to practice it. If you really got lag, well, I mean, okay. And if you are in masses, then I'm just gonna show you something. See the memory skip? And you can just do this memory skip without fucking up. Oh, I actually almost fucked up over there. And you see DPS check, that's another skip. Now this is what you do if you are a pro and if you do not have lag. So what I actually have over here is the metronome plugin. See? That makes it a little bit easier, but it's a bit more risky, but you should try to learn this. Otherwise, insanity, however, this is what I actually suggest you do. Practice insanity, and you can even practice it solo, which is a bit more difficult because I'm gonna show it to you over here. You need to be pretty much tick perfect for these skulls. Otherwise, you're gonna fuck it up. So at 80% hit points, you need to go in this spot. You need to go in this spot and just hit the skulls. And at 60% over here, 40, 20, but if you fuck it up solo, you are almost always guaranteed to die, and that really sucks. However, in teams, if you have a partner, then you have way more time to deal with the skulls. So this is why it's way better to have a partner or do it in teams. However, again, dying at part 3 really sucks. If both of you die, then you wasted like 30 minutes. So what you should do, clear everything and just practice it. Let's say 70 and you turn on some of the other invocations or whatever. Work for it. I don't know. Fast whatever, 150 and just practice. 150 once or twice or 3 times or 5 times, practice insanity so that when you get to 150 then you will not die. Okay, so let's turn it up. Right. Okay, so 300, no overlords, no medic, deadly prayer zone. Okay, insanity, okay, good. Maybe even feeling special, this can get you killed. Okay. Need some help next. If you are solo, still hardcore off, not worth it in my opinion. It's only 10 more points, really not worth it. Now, the other thing is, if you died, let's say you fucked up Zebak jugs or whatever, and you did Zebak the 4th boss, like I did, well, you can still do it again. It's fine. And depending on your gear, you can consider turning on overly draining. Now look at my gear. I only got the rapier, and unfortunately I actually need 4 cycles. If I had the Inferno cape, I would actually need only 3 cycles for Warden Part 2, but you know what? Whatever, more points, it's easy enough, 15 points, and I'm not gonna die. It's not a big risk, you know, overly draining, it's not a big risk. The difference is that with carries, instead of wasting 75% special, I waste 100%, but it's almost the same thing. And at Warden Part 4, if you got an adrenaline, you can still use it 2 times, so it's fine. Then I suggest you learn Double Trouble as well. It raises the raid time by quite a bit. I mean, not just a bit. So you see Double Trouble over here and feeling special. Orb has spawned behind me and in front of me. So that's feeling special. And Double Trouble means I'm on black phase and memory at the same time. Okay? So this can easily get you killed if you fuck it up. Or you can be in the middle. But well, whatever, you get it. You need to be in the middle and avoid the orbs. It can be quite a bit difficult, a lot of people avoid it, but you should learn it. It's mainly a mechanical invocation. It does not add hit points or defense to the boss. And as long as you do it perfectly, you do not get damaged either. And boulder dash and mind the gap. A little bit shitty, but you know, with the gap now, if you do Baba first, then I think you should definitely turn on gap. Because if you fuck up Baba, if you fuck up the gap, well, same as upset stomach. You lost like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. If you did Baba as the fourth boss, then you fall in the gap, it's pretty bad. You lost like 20 minutes. Zebak fourth, turn off upset stomach. Baba fourth, turn off gap. Overlords, now if you really want invocations and you don't really care if you waste 1 or 2 minutes, then okay, turn it on. But just make sure you do not fuck up blowing mud. It's really important. By this time, you can turn on the really shitty, the absolute god-awful shitty ones. Pathseeker, Pathfinder, Pathmaster. Now, the deal is, you can do it like this, just turn on 15 points, but come on, 15 points compared to 50, it's pretty bad. The huge problem is, when you turn on both of these, now hold on, 40 points? Wow, that's a lot, right? Well, this basically guarantees that you will do the shitty version of the bosses. So Zebak level 2, it's not super bad, it's doable, you should be able to handle it. But if you do Zebak 4th, and you got both of them on, then that gives you a really high chance that you have this shit. So with the waves, sometimes it actually makes you want, it forces you to go right next to Zebak. See? So if you had path 4, then this means you would have the waves all the way up until here, and they would force you to go into the melee range of Zebak. And he can hit like 70. 70! That's really bad. You need to be really careful with level 4. It can easily kill people, and it's one of the hardest ones. Aka, you need to check that it's path 2 or not, because some people die from that. With path 4 Baba, you need to start Xing. Baba path 4 can deal so much chip damage, and if you have no bruise, then he can just kill you through chip damage alone. And basically nobody wants to do path 4 carefree, because they barely have any time to dodge, especially with aerial assault. It might not sound like much, but once you actually do this, it's pretty bad. Same with Pathmaster, pretty bad. But at this point, you've got a different option. Okay, so you turn off overly draining and you turn on dehydration. So this means that you have no more ambrosias, no more bruise. Pretty risky. Pretty risky. But instead you got carries to heal you. So instead of bringing bruise, you bring a whole bunch of restore potions. And maybe even Falador shield as a backup plan. Yeah, that should be on. Yeah. And fortunately you're gonna have to turn on hardcore at this point. Yeah, so you got a choice over here. No help needed, dehydration, and Pathfinder. Unfortunately, I would strongly advise against turning on overly draining and dehydration at the same time. When I say that, BGS spec, not really important. D-clause, not important. And even DDS, well, you know what, if you got the rapier, then so what? You do one more cycle at Warden. But the deal is, if you brought the DDS at part 2, then that means you cannot use the carries Partisan of the Sun, which is really good for healing. You should have more resource and hardly any bruise. So the DTS really messes you up. I would just tell you, do not bring a DDS. Keep your special attack for the carries. So pick one of the two. And honestly, you are probably not going to do it within 40 minutes. Probably not. So at 500, unfortunately, you're gonna have to do no help needed and dehydration. And yeah, maybe overly draining helps you out a little bit, because at the path bosses you might have to heal twice. Unfortunately, it's pretty risky. I would suggest leaving it off. Otherwise, if you really want to, and I do not suggest doing this, you could try this, but I think it's a really bad idea. And even if you have a partner and you try medic, it is so horrible. Even with a partner at 500, it is absolute garbage. Same with keep back, because with keep back you need to constantly keep moving, but you got double trouble on. So you know the whole bit about making orbs and feeling special. So yeah. Well, anyway, that's about it, I think. But I would do this instead. It's too much risk. Keep back with double trouble and feeling special. I would definitely turn this off. If you are really good at butterflying, then okay, I guess. So you can do this. Otherwise, you turn off keep back and turn this on instead. You do it like this for the 500. Anyway, that's it.